I have made a mess down here. No idea what I'm doing tonight. Certainly going to be winging a part of it. And as I'm not actually ready to go, I'm going to throw another song into the mix real quick. Here we go. That mic seems a bit hot to me. I don't know. Maybe it's just me. So Dan, I went to the vape shop recently because I needed some cotton for making my coils, and I got this this stuff here called cotton bacon, and I don't know why it's called cotton bacon, other than I guess the strips of cotton are, I guess, roughly the size of bacon. I was kind of hoping it was cotton that tasted like bacon, but no, it was not. I was very disappointed, actually. Of course, had it been cotton that tasted like bacon, it would have made my juice taste like ass, but, you know. Cotton bacon. But I will say it's very good cotton, clean, very fluffy. That is hot. Try and bring that level down a little bit. It's like, I don't know. If the mic sounds too hot or too low, do me a favor. Send me a message and let me know. I have a face for radio, Danielle. As long as I look better on a TV than Angel did. I don't mean that. Bless her heart. Mm. I want that.
Bullshit detected. Take precautions.
Oh, that's going right next to my bell. Tonight's going to be a bit like Ira and the Douche.
Fat ass wanker.
Yeah, Kurt can call in. All right. Like 1 minute. The Nintendo 64 that like a 1990s console? All right, here we go. And good evening. It's November 10th, 7-ish. I'm XanderMac. I'm your host. This is Tech Talk on Just for Fun Radio. Starting a little bit late this evening. I've been trying to fight off a migraine most of the day. Been popping pills for the whole thing. Hasn't been fun. However, it means I am remarkably unprepared, more so than usual. Which is, it's okay. However, having said that, in my usual tradition of complaining about things that have absolutely no consequence to anyone, I'm going to start by talking about something I heard on television the other day. I can't remember what I was watching. It was some kind of rubbish TV show, and I turned it off after I heard this anyway. But one of the characters was talking, and again, don't know what they were talking about, but he said something along the lines of, for all intensive purposes, I completed the task. So intensive purposes, let's dissect that phrase for a minute. What does it mean, intensive purposes? It means fuck all is what it means. That's not the phrase. The phrase is intents and purposes, and whoever wrote that TV show should be fired immediately. It just annoys me. It got me thinking about other little phrases that people, I guess, use all the time, but don't realize that they're just completely wrong. One of the most common is "get my goat up." Get my goat up, and it's not goat; it's goad. G-O-A-D. Get my goad up. But everybody says "get my goat up." Anyway, goad. It's to incite or rouse. Incite or rouse. Goat. Furry, four-legged animal with horns that headbutts your nuts a lot. Two completely different things. I guess if you go around headbutting people in the nuts, they might be getting your goat up. But most of us get our goads up. And if you hear anybody using those phrases, just go ahead and headbutt them in the nuts and correct them. Tell them they're using it wrong. What happened this week, or this last week, I should say, in technology then? Well, T-Mobile, my cell phone carrier, had a one of their Uncarrier events today. They've done a few of these. Well, this is number 10, I believe, today. In the past, they introduced free international roaming, free texting and phone calls while you're overseas, unlimited data for free while you're overseas, free music streaming. And when I say free, I mean it does not count towards your data cap, if you have such a thing. So if you have 2 gigs of data, you can stream music, and it will not take away from those 2 gigabytes. And in addition to free music streaming, they did also give customers on a certain plan a free subscription to, I don't know, some music subscription, some music service that I don't use. I'll try to look up the name of it, but I use Apple Music, so it doesn't matter. Well, today was Uncarrier 10, and today they made video streaming free. You can stream video now from a number of different sources. Let me look them all up. Netflix, Hulu, HBO Go. There were dozens, well, no, a couple of dozen of these things. I'm trying to find the list. But you can stream all of this video on their, what they call their binge on plan. If you're already subscribed to one of their Well, if you're already subscribed to one of their, what am I trying to think of? What are those things called? Service, one of their service plans. If you're subscribed to one of those, on November 15th, I believe, this binge on will automatically get added to your account for free. Won't cost you a penny. And it will allow you to stream unlimited video from any of their partners in 480p resolution, which is, I mean, it's TV resolution. It's actually not bad. It's slightly above television resolution, but it's not high def. So what they're doing is somewhat lowering the quality of the video in order to let you binge on. I think it's kind of great, to be honest. Now, if you are on their unlimited data plan, you get an advantage there also, because I have unlimited data, but they cap my tethering or my hotspot usage at 5 gigabytes a month, I believe. But now video will also not count towards my hotspot usage. So I can hook my iPad up to my phone and stream video to the iPad from the phone, and it won't count against my unlimited data. So, or it won't count, I should say, against my 5 gig of hotspot. I think that's pretty damn cool. So yeah, Uncarrier 10, in addition now to Music Freedom and all their free roaming and calls and what kind of nonsense. Now, I hear people say that they like T-Mobile or they would go to T-Mobile, but they think the coverage is lacking. And yeah, I think a number of years back, 5-6 years ago, that was probably a fair point. But T-Mobile's network has grown a lot in the last 5 years. Their LTE network is amazing. I have coverage everywhere in this area, in the Metro Atlanta area, and I've had speeds on my iPhone of, I think the fastest I had was 80 something megabits per second download and about 60 or so up. Super fast. I don't know, just a great carrier. I would, and they will let you borrow a phone for, I think, a week to test out their coverage without signing a contract or committing to anything. You can take a phone out as a loaner and try out the network for a week, see if it actually provides coverage where you are. If it doesn't, you hand them the phone back. Don't lose the phone or break the phone unless you buy insurance coverage before you take it away for a week. Otherwise, that's on you. So yeah, I mean, if you think the this data option is for you, give them a try. There's honestly nothing to lose. And you can take the loaner out with a temporary number, and if you decide to stay with them, you can then port your existing number over after the fact. So that's pretty great. I want to talk about vaping, and this, I don't know, may run into the next segment as well. So I've noticed a shift in the perception of vaping lately. And it's because of the negative press and the what I think are just blatant lies being told about vaping. So Public Health England is a part of the National Health Service in England, and they released a report probably a month or so ago now. And these are scientists, and they said they can definitively say that vaping is 95% safer than smoking tobacco cigarettes. Now, when scientists say that, when they can say definitively 95%, it means it's way safer than 95%, but they're comfortable saying, yeah, it's definitely 95% safer. Well, this went over like a ton of bricks with the anti-smoking / anti-vaping / pro-pharmaceutical crowd. And they've been trying to discredit this report ever since. They haven't had a great deal of luck among vapors, obviously, but I think in the general public, the perception on vaping is changing. I saw a report recently that over 50% of people now believe that vaping is as harmful, if not more harmful, than smoking cigarettes. And that's tragic because e-cigs have the potential to save so many lives that that when this many people or these many potential users, or I should say potential quitters, um, think that vaping is more dangerous to them than smoking, they're not even going to give it a try. They're just going to continue smoking cigarettes and eventually die, because that's what happens when you smoke. Um, I've noticed it personally. I've seen it at places. I vape at Starbucks, for example. I vape outside on the patio, or I used to, um, until somebody said something to me. At which point I stopped vaping, took my stuff to the car, came in, and well, somebody said something to the manager, and the manager came and said something to me. And he told me I couldn't vape because it was a violation of a county ordinance, which was bullshit. So I put my stuff in my car, I came back in, and I asked him for a copy of Starbucks policy on vaping. And he said, it's not a policy, it's a county ordinance, and I'll be happy to call the police and have them explain it to you. And I said, sure, absolutely. I'd love to talk to the police about this. So he went out back, and while he was out back, I sent text messages to one of my county commissioners who, kind of wrote the damn ordinance. And I asked him, I said, does the smoke-free ordinance include, put a ban on vaping? He said, no, absolutely not. So I explained to him what was going on. And of course, he said, when the police get there, be polite and explain to them what's going on. And I said, sure, no problem. Anyway, the manager came out, and I said, so this was 15 minutes later. I asked, are the police on the way? He said, oh no, but I found this. And it was, he typed up a policy of his own. He'd gone back there, typed it up, and printed it out. And I said, okay, so can I keep this? He said, oh no, I can't give you that. So I know it wasn't Starbucks policy. It was his own, made up policy. And I told him, I said, well, while you were back there typing that, I was talking to my commissioner who wrote the ordinance, and vaping isn't covered. I said, so, maybe lying to a customer and threatening to call the police on them for simply asking for a copy of your policy, maybe that's not the best idea. And I reported it up the chain. I haven't heard anything back from Starbucks. I'll follow up on that. But there's one instance where nobody would bat an eye when I was vaping in the past. All this negative press that's come up is causing people to honestly believe that it's as bad as smoking. And there's absolutely no evidence that anyone has come up with that it's even close to smoking, especially for I'll call them passive vapors or secondhand vapors. There's no harmful effects to those at all. They did some tests at a university in Greece where they put a bunch of vapors in a room vaping together while they were measuring the air quality, and they found no noticeable change in the level of carcinogens in the room while people were filling it up with electronic cigarette vapor. Anyway, all that aside, the FDA are one of the main proponents of the negative news and stories coming out about vaping. Now, obviously, Mitch Zeller, who runs the FDA tobacco research department, he is a former lobbyist for a pharmaceutical company, I believe Pfizer, who sell a lot of stop smoking drugs, and honestly quite harmful stop smoking drugs, as one of their drugs has caused hundreds of suicides. And it even states now on the packages, may cause suicidal thoughts or successful suicide. Brilliant. Still on the market, by the way. And so now Mitch Zeller runs the FDA's tobacco, FDA tobacco, who are the ones coming up with the regulations for electronic cigarettes. So obviously we know whose pocket he is in. And they sent the regulations got finalized, and they sent them off to the OMB, the Office of Management Budget, which is a part of the government that is their task is to look at the regulations and determine whether they're harmful to the economy, and if they detrimentally harm public health. Now, if you take those two directives into consideration, the OMB should reject these FDA proposals immediately. They should just blanket reject them, send them back to the FDA, and tell them you need to rewrite these because it's going to put thousands of people out of work. It's going to cause millions of people to switch back to smoking tobacco and cause over, the majority of those to lose their lives at some point. However, there's a lot of political pressure in Washington right now to regulate electronic cigarettes, and the pressures on the OMB to skim through these regulations within 30 days and get them back to the FDA to be published and enacted. And the worst case scenario from there is that states begin adopting those regulations immediately, which will close down every vape shop in your state. It'll close down every vape shop in the country. And when we get back after the break, I will start reading through some of these regulations, just a portion of them, and let you know why this will close down every vape shop in the country. And by the way, create a massive black market, which the OMB is supposed to take into consideration also. We'll be back after this, and we'll finish up with the FDA and e-cigs. I should have taken more pills. I got a cupcake over there. I'm going to go eat it. Fucking yummy. I was brought a sandwich this evening as well. A lovely Cajun chicken sandwich with some pasta that Crystal brought me, because none of the latest talk listeners brought me a steak. What are you going to do? These are old. They're the same cupcakes from last Tuesday, I think. Oh, well. You gonna eat it anyway? All right, we're back. Let's pick up where we left off. So, the Tobacco Vapor Electronic Cigarette Association, or TVECA, they obtained a copy of the FDA's electronic cigarette deeming regulations, though the final draft, I guess, that was sent to the OMB. Now they haven't released everything at the request of the FDA. I guess the FDA are afraid to let all of these go public. But what they have done is released the pages that relate to filing a what is called a PMTA. A PMTA is a pre-market tobacco product application. And the TVECA has made the PMTA guidance publicly available on its website. Now, these in 2007, the FDA were given purview over regulating tobacco products, and since then, no new product has been allowed on the market, and anything after 2007 has to file one of these PMTAs to get on record, or I should say to be able to be put on sale. Nothing has actually ever been approved since 2007. But anything prior to 2007 is grandfathered in. That's why we have cigarettes on the market that won't have to jump through any of these hoops that electronic cigarettes do. So let's talk about what is required in a PMTA and why this is going to put, I think, everybody in electronic cigarettes out of business, because I don't even think the big tobacco companies can meet half of the requirements necessary for this. So I honestly think this is a de facto prohibition on electronic cigarettes by the FDA. All electronic cigarette products that are sold directly to consumers, which including the e-liquids and the devices themselves, will be required to submit a pre-market tobacco application, which must be approved by the FDA in order for the product to stay on the market. And it actually says stay on the market. The FDA has decided to use February 15th, 2007 as the grandfather date for these regulations. And since no product currently on the market can be deemed substantially equivalent to products on the market 8 years ago, all products currently on the market today will have to submit a PMTA. And that means if you have, let's make it easy. If you have 10 juice flavors in 4 strength levels, 3 milligrams, 6, 12, and 18 milligram, that will be 40 PMTAs you will need to file in order for that to stay on the market. If you sell 10 different mods or electronic cigarettes, those will each require a PMTA to stay on the market. If you sell 10 different atomizers or tanks, those will each require a PMTA to stay on the market. Now, the PMTA must demonstrate that the product in question is beneficial to the public's health, taking into account not only the effects on smokers who use the product, but also the impact on non-smokers, especially kids, who might initiate use of the product. When a single PMTA may be submitted for multiple products, the demonstration in number 2 must be made for every product individually. So different flavorings and different nicotine strengths constitute separate products. So, even though the potential is there for you to submit one PMTA to cover all of your juices, if it has different flavoring or different nicotine strengths, it's going to require a separate PMTA application. Vaping devices or the mods themselves are also considered tobacco products. Now, this one here is made of stainless steel and aluminum. There's a battery in it, some wires, a nice LCD display screen, and some screws. Not entirely sure what part of this device is derived from tobacco, but the FDA have decided this is now a tobacco product and will be regulated as such. I imagine the flashlight in my pocket could also be considered a tobacco product and regulated as such. And now the PMTA needs to include the following information. And this is, I'm just going to read part of the list. I'm not going to read the whole thing because it's just too long. But this goes for nicotine liquids, hardware, batteries, atomizers, even the cotton that you put in your atomizer to wick the juice. Anyway, you need to demonstrate, or you need to show, I should say, research findings on the health effect of the product. Research findings on the effect of the product on tobacco use among users of the product, i.e., does it reduce your use of tobacco? Research findings on the effect of the product on tobacco use initiation among youth, and research findings on the impact of the product on the population as a whole. Now, I don't know many vape shops that are able to do that kind of research. Generally, it's universities using public funding that conduct this kind of research, but this is what you're going to have to do. If you are a vape shop and you mix your own juice, you are going to have to do this research and include it with your PMTA for each individual product in order for it to stay on the market. You can't research it one time for one juice and call it good. You have to do this research every single time for each and every product, flavor, and strength. Now, specifically for each product, a complete lab analysis of the constituents of the aerosol with quantification of the concentrations of at least 29 specific chemicals. I don't have a list of what those chemicals are. I imagine diacetyl, all of the diacetyl will be in there, acetopropanol will be in there, formaldehyde will be in there. And I imagine they're going to have to provide the lab analysis of those liquids at multiple temperatures of vaping. And because some people vape in what I consider to be an unsafe way, which does create a lot of formaldehyde or a lot of aldehydes in general. I don't. I vape, I think, relatively safely. My maximum temperature is 400 degrees, but this device allows me to control temperature. The health risks of the product compared to never using a tobacco product. I'm not sure. It would tell me that means you have to test these products on people that have never smoked, in which case you're now subjecting them to vaping, which is one of the things the FDA wants to avoid entirely. But it says here the health risks compared to having never using a tobacco product. The likelihood of youth initiating tobacco use with the new product. That is a population level study. A number of these have been done, but if you are a vape shop and you are mixing juice and selling it, you are going to have to do a population level study of the likelihood of youth adoption of tobacco from switching from your product to cigarettes. It's insane. The likelihood of former smokers reinitiating tobacco use with the new product, another population level study there. The likelihood that consumers who initiate use of the product will later switch to more hazardous tobacco products. That again, another population level study, which is impossible for any vape shop to do. It's impossible actually for any e-liquid manufacturer, regardless of size, to do. Again, these are university level studies that are being done in other countries in the world, just not in the United States, because the United States hates vaping. And obviously because big pharma has its money up every politician's ass. The likelihood that consumers will use the product along with other tobacco products or dual use, again, that really should be a population level study, which has been done. And we have, the FDA has all of these studies. The CDC put out a study last week, which actually disproved everything the CDC has been saying about vaping for the last 5 years. Their own population level study disproved their own claims. And all the FDA really need to do is look at that, but they won't. They're going to require each individual vendor to do their own. The likelihood of smokers switching to the product instead of quitting completely or trying to quit with an FDA approved medication, i.e. Chantix, or that awful gum that makes your teeth fall out, or the one that makes you kill yourself. That one is also, I think that is Chantix actually. But of course, again, Mitch Zeller was a pharmaceutical lobbyist who now runs FDA tobacco. A discussion explaining how the data above demonstrate that the introduction of the product to the market will contribute to the protection of the public's health. There's already a plethora of data that shows how electronic cigarettes contribute to the protection of the public's health, and yet the FDA still want to ban the fucking things. I'm sorry, it just pisses me off. Furthermore, for the laboratory testing, at least 10 samples from 3 different batches need to be tested. So you're not just going to send off your juice one time. You got to send off 10 samples of that juice from 3 separate batches to be tested. The testing must be done under a variety. Oh, here we go. Under a variety of conditions, such as varying voltages and under conditions of intense and non-intense use. So cloud chasers and normal human vapors. If a vaping device is the product in question, it must be tested with a range of e-liquids. It makes no sense because the device itself is effectively a battery. The liquid you put in it makes no difference. You could test it with 1,000 different liquids and the results will always be the same. If the liquid is the product in question, it must be tested with a range of vaping devices. That one makes more sense because liquids act differently in different tanks at different resistances and different temperatures. I understand that one. However, they should be tested under normal usage conditions at temperatures that vapors actually use. I saw a study out of England, I believe, where they found levels of formaldehyde, I want to say over 100 times greater than in tobacco cigarettes. It turns out, though, they were using a CE4 atomizer from 5 years ago with a 2 ohm resistance coil, and they were pumping 6 volts through this thing, and it was just burning it instantly, creating what's called the dry puff phenomenon. And no vapor ever does this. No vapor ever does this. And yet that's how they were testing their liquid to prove, oh, vaping's not safe for you. For e-liquids and vaping devices, the shelf life must be determined under varying conditions of temperature and moisture. Okay, shelf life for e-liquids, I get. Shelf life for a battery, or a chunk of metal, I don't know. Whatever. Changes in the aerosol flow rate and the constituents of the aerosol need to be tested over the lifespan of the liquid or vaping device. I'm not sure that the aerosol flow rate will change. That's dependent on the atomizer you're using. I do know the constituents of the liquid itself can change or break down over time, so that does need to be tested, and I think everyone concedes that needs to be tested. Um, all existing studies on the safety and use of the product must be submitted, including the results of all clinical and non-clinical investigations. I like that. However, it's not a substitute for your own clinical trials. You still have to do those. For any clinical studies of the product, the study sponsor must obtain an IND or investigational new drug application prior to initiating the research. You're required to submit clinical studies, and the person has to provide you with an IND, another hoop. In general, non-clinical studies are not enough to support the conclusion that a product is appropriate for the protection of the public health. Clinical studies of each product are generally necessary. There's the clincher. That's the killer right there. Clinical studies are generally necessary. There's a reason big pharmaceutical companies are the only people that do clinical trials, and it's because clinical trials cost billions and billions of dollars to perform. You're now going to be required to do clinical trials, and animal testing might be necessary for every device or liquid that you sell out of your vape shop. Nobody can do this. The tobacco companies can't afford this. My local vape shop cannot do this. The little backroom guys mixing juice in their garage, they cannot do, well, they shouldn't be mixing juice, but they cannot do this. The biggest company I buy from one of the largest companies in America, who run labs and test every single liquid they have. They can't do clinical trials of their liquids. A population level clinical trial costs billions of dollars, and they're asking people to do that for every electronic cigarette product on the market. Ladies and gentlemen, this is a ban. That's what this is, plain and simple. This is prohibition of electronic cigarettes to protect the pharmaceutical industry. And if we sit back and allow this to happen, shame on us. I'm on a break. I'm sick of ranting. Big Tobacco initially supported the deeming regulations. And they've been involved with the FDA in creating the regulations from step one. And I think call in. We'll talk about it on the air. I'm going to finish going over the rest of these requirements because I've only touched on half of them, and these are only half of all the requirements. It's terrifying. Oh, I know what I need to do. I need to get ready for a later segment on. That's not it. Hello.
Hi, how you
Hi.
doing?
Good. Good.
How's your head feeling?
Oh, it's all right. I mean, it's a migraine. I get them every now and then. It's kind of a pain in the ass.
Yeah.
I
I'm very sorry to hear that.
Yeah, it's okay. Here we go. Tag Heuer connected. I'm getting this ready for when I'm done bitching about the FDA, I'm going to talk about this Tag Heuer watch. But you're on the phone, so we can talk about the FDA together. We can complain together. But did you hear what I said? I've only touched on,
Yeah.
I've only gone over half of the requirements I have, which is less than half of the total requirements just for a PMTA. And the PMTA is only one part of the overall regulations.
That's nuts.
Dude, it's prohibition is exactly what it is.
Yeah, it is.
I'm going to talk about what's required in the clinical trials, which is basically what the rest of these requirements are. Oh, man, it's unbelievable.
Do you think some of the issue is irresponsible vaping?
Yes.
Making people who aren't part of the vaping community anti-vaping?
Absolutely. Yeah, all these, you're talking about these guys with their stretched out earlobes blowing clouds in people's faces.
Hang on, let me close my office door.
Is that what you're talking about?
Yeah, well, yeah, and
these
using
sweaty,
vaping rigs,
these sweaty fuckers that don't shower and want to make the biggest clouds in the restaurant.
Yeah,
and
they're
a big part of it, and I hate them.
Yes, and using vaping rigs to smoke pot oil. To get stoned on what. I mean, because the average person doesn't know the damn difference.
That happens. I
It
actually don't
absolutely
know.
happens.
Yeah, I don't know anyone that does that. I know
I
somebody.
know. I mean,
I know somebody that used. Is it called CBD oil? The stuff
you
they.
know, I honestly, I know, that I know of someone having done it at work.
Mm,
I mean, and I don't hang out with, I mean, not like that I think I'm too cool or whatever, but like back when we worked in the bars, I'm sure we would have known, or when I worked in the bars, I would have known people that did it. I'm just not in that community anymore. You know what I
yeah,
mean?
I know what you mean.
But,
We'll talk about that when we go back on air because I'm
okay,
on a
yeah,
break.
yeah, okay.
But
Um,
I'll go through this and then you can bitch about vapors.
but I mean, I'm not anti, but I tell you what,
I know.
Kurt,
I agree with you. I'm just pulling
and
your
the
chain.
reason, and I tell you what, Alex, the reason that I'm not anti is because of you,
Yeah,
quite frankly.
yeah,
Only because, only because I've been exposed to positive things about it because of your stupid ass.
yeah. It's
But,
true.
Kurt has had negative experiences because of the type of people that work for him and his business.
Yep,
So he's
I
like,
agree.
fuck that shit.
I agree. I had to tell
And
somebody. I had to tell somebody in the office the other day to quit it.
yeah,
And it's we'll talk about that because it's awkward. Because I
yeah, I
vape,
mean,
but
yeah,
I do it. What I consider responsibly.
yeah.
All right, here we go. We're
But I
going back
mean,
on.
that's with anything, I mean, that's okay.
All right, we're back. Before the break, I got to clinical studies. Now, I hate to tell you this, guys, but I'm only halfway through the requirements that I've picked up, which are only half of the total requirements, which is only a portion of the PMTA, which is only a portion of the overall regulations. So we got a ways to go. Clinical studies. Clinical. Shit. Oops, press the wrong button there. Sorry. So clinical trials for each product, gen toxicity and cytoxicity studies are recommended. I'm going to try to whiz through these a bit faster. I've got Danielle on the phone and she wants to weigh in and complain about vapors a little bit, and I don't blame her. um, a thorough literature review should be conducted. Sorry. So in other words, you got to be now a fucking PhD and do your thesis on electronic cigarettes and submit it to the FDA. The toxicological profile of each aerosol constituent should be provided. If no information is already available, toxicology studies need to be conducted. For each constituent in the aerosol, the particle size in the aerosol should be determined, as well as the deposition of through inhalation. For each constituent, the implications of the particle size and deposition during inhalation shall be analyzed in terms of potential toxicity. Animal testing may be required to determine that potential toxicity. For each aerosol constituent, the health effects of that chemical should be studied. Both changes in physiological measurements and laboratory values such as inflammatory markers should be investigated. If there are no existing data on the toxicity of a particular chemical component of the aerosol, then computation modeling studies should be conducted using surrogate chemical structures. Consumer perception studies are highly recommended. We'll have a consumer perception study momentarily when Danny gets on. Studies of the potential use of the product by non-smokers, including youth and existing smokers, is highly recommended. Such studies must be related to the product itself or similar product. Thus, an open system vaping device should not whatever. Bollocks is what it is. Puff topography studies should be included in the applications, blah, blah, blah. A whole litany of government hoops for us mere mortals to jump through so that we can save our own fucking lives. Thank you, Uncle fucking Sam. Danny!
Hey,
Danny! What's going on?
nothing, brother. What's happening?
Nothing. So we were talking during the break, and you brought up that part of the perception are vapors themselves, and I have to agree with you because I know what you're referring to. You're referring to these unshowered, fat, sweaty, stretched earlobe, cloud chasing, fucking, blowing massive plumes in the restaurant while you're trying to eat a sandwich. That's who you're talking
Partially.
about, right?
Partially, I think. Well, the question that I asked you was, do you think that part of what all of this anti-vapingness is about is non-vapors' negative perception of sort of the vaping community?
Mm-hmm. I do.
Yeah, I think that's part of it. I think part of it is that we just don't get it. Like, why the fuck do you guys need to walk around, puffing on your little non-cigarette cigarettes?
Right.
Why can't you just go where the smokers go?
Here's what I would say to that, and I would answer that question thusly. I would say everybody knows a smoker. Everybody has an aunt or an uncle or a grandfather or a grandmother who smokes, who could benefit from switching to electronic cigarettes. Now, I'm not saying switch to cloud chasing and fogging up your local Waffle House. I'm talking about switching to a product that will get you off of cigarettes and save your life.
Right.
So that's why I wish non-smokers were interested, but I do believe that there's a certain portion of the I will call it the vaping community, even though I hate that term. There's a portion of them, and in fact these days it's almost the majority, who they're just rude. They're rude. They're selfish. They think making a big cloud is the most important thing, and for some reason they think it impresses people, and they just look like a bunch of tits is what they look like. We had a guy in work. He's just started working for the company a couple of months ago, and he started vaping a few weeks ago, and he immediately got into these rebuildable dripping atomizers with super sub-ohm coils blowing massive clouds, and he came into the office doing it. And it's difficult because I do vape in the shop, in the office, but my boss and we've talked about it, and I'm a relatively discreet vapor, especially at work. I mean, here you can see me blowing some vape on the camera, and it probably looks fairly heavy on camera, but off camera it's almost nothing. But this guy was blowing massive clouds, and I pulled him aside. I took him, I said, listen, if you're going to vape in the office, you have to vape normally. You vape like a regular person. If you're going to blow clouds, you got to do it outside, because right now the office is hazy, smells of raspberry, and the owner is going to walk back here and say to everybody, right, that's it, no more. We gave it a shot, we gave it a try, and obviously it didn't work out. So this kid luckily has, he's been outside vaping since then. But yeah, it's the perception, because if me, an electronic cigarette user, look at that and say, oh dear God, what everybody else is thinking. And one of my colleagues walked back and he said, oh damn, it's like fog back here. And I said, yeah, I took care of that already. Don't worry about it. But yeah, it just takes one more of those, and that's it. That turns everybody in the office against vaping.
And I think people just don't have, like my experience or my exposure to vaping is you. So, I have a positive, I guess, impression of it. But I think people have a limited exposure. Many people, I think, have a limited exposure to vaping. So if that exposure that they have is some douchebag in a restaurant, like you said, when you're trying to eat and some guy is blowing, huge clouds that smell like ass, that is going to be your negative.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Like your impression is going to be negative.
Yeah. And
so I wonder too if.
Go ahead. Sorry.
I wonder too if some sort of like educational, and I don't know if there is even, a vaping, whatever arm of anything that could do an educational outreach and do, like, cause I've never seen a character that I know of on TV vaping.
Well, the industry,
You know what I mean?
I have. I mean, you see it occasionally. I mean, I probably notice it more because I vape.
Right.
The problem is you're right. But generally their first impression of vapors now is these kids with blowing massive clouds, because that's what the industry has turned to. The industry doesn't focus anymore on effective devices that mimic smoking to get people off of tobacco. Now it's all about these sub-ohm tanks and massive batteries and blowing as big a cloud as you can. A starter kit. I was looking at a starter kit from now 2015, and comparing it to what I started with back in 2009, and now it's a variable wattage box mod with a sub-ohm glass tank on top of it with 0.3 ohm coils that are designed for lung inhaling, and chucking the clouds, bro, chucking the clouds. It's ridiculous. But
yeah,
and I want to say vape shop owners are ultimately responsible, because they're the ones selling these devices, but they're selling them because that's what people want. Unfortunately, that's what people are going in and asking for. They want the latest cloud chuck-in machine, and it kills me.
That's going to be the death of the industry.
It will be.
I mean, that's the shame of it all. Is it's going to be that, not big pharma. That, well, I mean, I guess it goes hand in hand.
Yeah.
But it's going to be the conservative voters that don't want to see these stretched out earlobe kids smoking these things.
Strangely enough, and again, I don't want to get, I'm going to get political, because this FDA is run currently by this administration. It was this president that put this lobbyist in charge of FDA tobacco, and it's the people on the left right now, the Democrats, that are pushing for these regulations, whereas the Republicans are trying to make it easier by passing. There's a bill moving through the House right now that will change the grandfather date for products on the market to the day that the FDA's deeming regulations go into effect. So instead of being 2007, it will mean anything on the market currently right now will be able to stay on the market without a PMTA. However, even if that bill passes, the president's going to veto it.
Wow.
Yeah. It's pretty bad. So here's the worst case scenario for us, or for me now. The OMB, because of the political pressure on them, rushes these, doesn't live up to their oh God, I can't even think of the word. They don't do what they're supposed to do. Okay.
Right.
They sign off on these regs. They send them back to the FDA. The FDA posts them. States, who are in a god awful hurry, by the way, to try and regulate vaping, and who have been saying we're waiting for the FDA to drop their regs, states adopt them immediately. And January 1st, every vape shop in the country gets shut down. Then Granny is back to smoking cigarettes. Aunt Rose and Uncle fucking Charlie are off down buying a pack of 20 and killing themselves again. And if we sit by and watch that happen, I have to say it's shame on us. Yes, is education the key? You're absolutely right. I think there's so many parts to this that need to be fixed. It's not even funny.
Right.
This focus on cloud chasing needs to disappear. It needs to go. It needs to get back to helping people quit smoking and stay off cigarettes.
Right.
I think the government needs to start being honest about the health benefits of vaping and tobacco harm reduction. If they can be honest about it in Europe and in England, why can't the United States be honest about it? The Public Health England put out their report, and all of these organizations in England suddenly threw their weight behind the benefits of electronic cigarettes. The Lung Association of the UK, Cancer UK, there were a number of others, but their sister organizations over here the American Lung Association and the United States Cancer Association, they still support the FDA and say this stuff's bad and should be banned. So in one country they support it and admit that it will save lives, yet in this country, because they get so much damn money from pharma, and because
Right.
and in this country, that's the only country that happens, by the way. While the United States and New Zealand are the only two countries where big pharma can go out and bribe these organizations into doing their bidding for them. And so here, electronic cigarettes have to be demonized to protect the pharmaceutical companies. It's killing me. It's got the estimated cost for one PMTA, to file one PMTA and do just the research, not including the clinical trials, just to do the application and the research necessary, $3 million.
Jesus.
You add in the clinical trials to that, and you're talking billions of dollars for every single product, for each product. Yep. That's effectively, it's the end of vaping. How in the meantime, cigarettes get to stay on the market.
Yep.
No one has ever had to do a clinical trial of cigarettes. Never had to. And never will have to. They'll be able to stay on the market for the rest of our lives. And electronic cigarettes will be forced.
Well, worse yet, we know what cigarettes do.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, they have done trials, they have done tests, and we know that they kill us.
Yeah, they have. I mean, they've done their own. The tobacco companies have done their own testing. They've never been required to do clinical trials, though.
Oh, gotcha.
And you asked if Big Tobacco is behind any of this, and yet the answer is, and I don't know definitively, but I think the answer is yes and no, because obviously they've worked hand in hand with the FDA on these regulations from the beginning. And from what I've read and from what I've been led to understand, the tobacco companies now oppose these deeming regulations that they helped to write. Because,
really?
Yeah, well, I think even they realize now that they won't be able to keep they can't even afford to keep their products on the market, because even tobacco companies cannot afford clinical studies.
So are the regulations that are going to affect the vaping stuff, is that going to affect tobacco as well?
No, tobacco, because it's grandfathered in prior to 2007, stays on the market with no. They still won't be able to bring any new tobacco products to market, because any new tobacco product will require a PMTA. And again, they've never since 2007, no tobacco company has had a new product approved to go on the market. That's how onerous the existing regulations are, and these new regulations are going to even add to that, because it now adds in the requirement for clinical trials.
Gotcha.
Yeah. It doesn't make any sense to me. I mean, I know they're a lot safer. The rest of the world knows they're a lot safer. The CDC just put out a report saying they're a lot safer. And yet the government says, no, they're not, and they need to be while they're not saying they need to be taken off the market, these requirements would indicate that that's their intention. Anyway, Dan, we got a break coming up, and when I come back, we can talk about whatever you want, except we're going to talk about the new Tag Heuer watch. Woo!
As long as that's what I want to talk about?
Yes.
We can talk about whatever I want to, as long as it's that?
Yes.
Okay.
All right. And whatever you want, as long as it's that.
Okay.
All right. Guys, we will be back. We'll be back after this break, and we'll talk about something else. Okay. That was a quick segment. That 20 minutes flew by.
Well, it seems to go quickly when you're ranting.
Yeah, and this is a lot to rant about. Okay. So I ordered a couple of weeks ago, I just went ahead and ordered a bunch of juice,
Yeah.
So I'll talk about best case scenario. I think when I come back, I guess I should talk about best case scenario, because there are things that people can do. What's the name of that bill? Damn it! I need to find out the bill. Tobacco, grandfather. Bill. HR 2058. People need to support that bill. You still watching me on TV?
Yeah.
There you go.
I mean, I have you turned down because
TV
it's,
post.
you know.
Well, sure, you're on the phone.
Yeah.
So I'm like 10,
you know,
I'm
and
40 seconds behind.
right. Yes, I was pulling up my email that I got in response to clicking on Facebook about the bill, so that if you couldn't find it, I could tell you what it was.
Oh, okay. Yeah, HR 2058, I think.
Yeah. Yes, you are correct.
Yeah, I need to make a note of this, else I'm going to forget what to talk about. So, let's go back to notes. Did you see the new watch, by the way?
Not in person. I mean,
Oh,
you
but
know,
you saw the
prairie.
announcement and whatnot.
Yes.
Okay. HR.
Are you not excited about the new watch? You seem very.
No, I am. I'm really excited about it. My head's a bit iffy, and I'm going to talk about it. HR 2058, the GSFA, got to talk about that. And there's a petition. There's a petition to Obama to sign 2058, which people hopefully will sign as well. I'm not sure these online petitions make a lot of difference, but they did kill CISPA a couple of years ago. So it was an online,
Really?
but yeah, it was an online petition that got the president to veto CISPA.
Yeah, I think I always just kind of figure online petitions are crap, but
yeah, so do I.
If
to
you
be
say
honest,
so, I believe you.
I don't know that will make any difference. I know that people contacting their reps to support HR 2058 should make a difference, but that doesn't mean it's going to.
Right.
I know the Republican. I know the
breathing
GOP.
down their neck.
Yeah, I know the GOP support 2058, and they have the votes to pass it. But without Democrat votes, the president's just going to veto it.
Right.
And that's a shame. Oh well.
I think all this.
Did you have anything else you wanted to talk about as well besides the watch? Because that's not going to carry us an hour or so.
Well, I have, some rollover stuff. The RFID wallets last week we didn't talk about. You and I had sort of texted about maybe talking about Bluetooth devices, what we use, what we like, whatever. I don't know if you have any interest. I thought maybe we could talk about what kind of keyboards we use on our phones. None of this is going to be interesting to you, I don't think.
That's funny because Crystal sent me a message about one of the third-party keyboard. I just use the stock keyboard. I've tried some of the others. But yeah, we can talk about that. But let's talk about Bluetooth too, because I use a lot of that.
Yeah.
A lot of Bluetooth. But I do want to talk about the watch. Because
when you were talking about
go ahead.
Words that people use wrong.
Yeah. Do you have some?
Oh my God.
Oh, I bet you have a bunch. Oh, we are going to talk.
Baby Jesus.
We are going to talk about those. All right. So we're going to do.
You know what? What has begun to drive me crazy? Kurt leaves the closed caption on the TVs because, like, in the bedroom, I fall asleep and he's up later, so he turns it down so it doesn't wake me up. Closed caption is horrible for spelling and stuff.
Yeah.
And the word all right, ALRIGHT, and then ALL space RIGHT, two completely different meanings.
Oh, yeah.
Closed caption motherfuckers don't know the difference.
Yeah. Well, isn't that mainly by voice recognition, though?
I don't know.
I thought it was. What's the other one? What's the other word? There's one word that everybody gets wrong. what is it?
Like, did they make one word when it should be two, or
No, it's
like
just
a lot?
it's just one word that they mispronounce every single time. Well, no, they actually say the wrong word.
Oh, well, there are a bunch of them. Hang on, I'm not
Yeah. Spoken phrases and words. Oh, this website's going to piss me off.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. You know, like specifically and pacifically. That's just ignorance.
Oh, this one includes for all intensive purposes. Oh,
nice.
I
That
hate
is
that.
awesome.
Oh, here's
That's the best.
it takes two to tangle. It takes two to tangle. Oh, the spit.
Oh my God, mano a mano.
Mano a mano.
Drives me crazy. It means hand to hand. People say it to me like man to man. It means hand to hand.
Yep.
Don't try to be all smart if you're not smart.
Yep. Juan on Juan. Obviously that's not one. Playing basketball, Juan on Juan. Nip it in the butt versus nip it in the bud.
That's awesome.
I could care less versus I could not.
Oh, drives me insane.
Yep, it drives me nuts.
Insane.
But there's one word that everybody uses wrong, and I can't remember what it is. Carl used to use this word all the fucking time. Oh God, what was it? The statute of limitations instead of statute of limitations.
Statute, yep.
Yeah. Here's another. Everything includes intents and purposes, but nobody includes get my goat up. Get my goat up. You're getting my goat up. I don't know what this is.
What is it?
Pop-up came up, and my options were I agree or I disagree, and I just clicked one. It's not my computer. I don't care. Oh no! Commonly misspoken words. I don't know this.
It's probably the same one that is like on the edge of my brain, and I just can't get it either.
Yeah. All right, we're going back on here, I think.
Okay.
Yes, we are. All right, we're back. So Dan, I guess I should really talk about the best case scenario before we move on to something else. I've talked about the worst case. Let me talk about the best case. There are things we can do for vendors in Georgia and for vapors, actually. Your vendor should be a member of the Georgia Smoke-Free Association, the GSFA. Look them up on Facebook and go to their website. You'll find a list of current members. The reason it's important is because it's the GSFA that pays for our lobby. Oh, that's it. That's that word, Dan. It's the GSFA that pays for our lobbyists. All industries have a lobby. The restaurants, all restaurants in Georgia belong to the Georgia Restaurant Association, and they pay for a lobbyist who goes to the Capitol and lobbies for them and basically imposes their will on your elected officials. Every vape shop should be a member of the GSFA. Only a handful are. If your vape shop is not a member of the GSFA, you need to tell them to join and put their money where their mouth is or start shopping somewhere else, because you're doing yourselves no favors by continuing to give them money when they don't give a shit about you. And I don't care who gets offended by that. I'm saying it. They need to join the GSFA. Now, for everybody else, vapors, smokers, non-smokers, everybody who, if you know a smoker and you want them to have the option of vaping and saving their lives, there is a bill currently going through the House of Representatives. It's House Resolution 2058, 2058. It will change the grandfather date for tobacco products to the day that the FDA's regulations go into place. Now, I contacted my congressman about this and spoke to him. He's a Democrat who, by the way, Democrats are pushing for vaping to be banned. And Republicans generally seem to be in favor of vaping. Keep that in mind when you vote. My congressman said, "Oh yeah, I know, 2058. It removes all regulations for electronic cigarettes." And I had to say, "No, Congressman, actually, it doesn't. All this does is moves the grandfather date for electronic cigarettes to remain on the market through from 2015, under the FDA's regulations. It doesn't remove any regulations for electronic cigarettes whatsoever. It allows these products to stay on the market regulated, and all future products will have to go through the PMTA process." I had to explain that to my own congressman. Obviously, he hasn't read the bill. I bet you none of them have read this bill. So there are, if you go to the Tech Talk page, there's a link to a tool which is so easy. It'll take 60 seconds out of your life to compose an email and send it to all of your representatives, asking them to support HR 2058. There is also a petition online. I don't know about these petitions. I know some have worked, some haven't. For example, CISPA. CISPA was vetoed by the president because of an online petition. There's a petition to the president to, if HR 2058 passes, there's a petition for him to sign it into law. Because the assumption right now, or at least I believe the threat right now, is that he will veto it. So I will post a link to that petition on the Tech Talk page, and I would again encourage everyone to go and sign it. I don't care if you're a vapor or a smoker. You know somebody that is. You know somebody that can save their lives by vaping, and the least you could do is help them. Wow, that was a bit of a guilt trip, wasn't it? But that's fine. That
was a soapbox, but you're not wrong.
Yeah, that was a bit of a soapbox. But most importantly, to the vendors, the state, when these regulations drop, the state of Georgia could adopt them day one as written. That means if OMB gets them back to the FDA before Christmas, and the FDA publish those, and Georgia, the state of Georgia says we'll adopt those January 1st, you are closing your doors January 1st. So bear that in mind. Join the GSFA, put your money where your mouths are, pay for our damn lobbyists to protect your business. As vapors, we'll do what we have to. We'll contact our representatives. We'll push for these bills to get passed, but you've got to do your part as well. Otherwise, we're just going to stop shopping with you and only shop at vendors who are members. And fuck y'all. Anyway, Danny, all right, let's get off of that. So
irregardless
of all of that. Yeah, there's one of those. That word. I swear to God. So I've been pulling up some websites of the, commonly misspoken phrases, and man, there are some awesome ones here. For all intensive purposes, which I mentioned earlier, it takes two to tangle instead of, takes two to tango. Some of these are awesome. Funny things. I don't know. Well,
awesomely bad.
I don't know why we have such a hard time with the English language. I really don't. Yeah. Oh well. Tag Heuer. So smartwatches. Tag Heuer released their smartwatch, and I'm gonna fade over to this on YouTube for anybody that wants to have a look at that. And I'm going to just play this video, which, I don't know, may result in a takedown. Who knows? I'm not sure if you can hear that music. I can hear it through my headphones, and it's annoying. Anyway,
Oh yeah, the music is coming over YouTube. If that's what you were asking. I just
Okay.
turned it up for a second.
I'm gonna pause that because it's coming through my headphones and it's doing my ad in. So they
Yeah, it's awful.
launched their smartwatch, Tag Heuer watch. It is a Carrera. It's in the Carrera 01 case. This case is made of grade 2 titanium. So apparently it's super light. People, the guys at Blog to Watch went to the launch event and they were comparing it to Apple Watches, the stainless steel, and they were saying it's much lighter than the Apple Watch, even though it's a lot bigger. It's a 46 millimeter Carrera case, the 01 titanium case, has a rubber strap with a deployant clasp, and it comes in colors. And guess what color they have available?
Orange.
They have orange available. Well, okay, I should clarify this. Everyone comes with a black strap by default, but you can purchase other straps of different colors. Orange is one. They have where is it? They're not showing all the colors on their website anymore. You specifications maybe. Screen bracelet. They are available in 7 colors: green, blue, orange, red, white, black, and yellow. It runs the Android Wear operating system. It's powered by an Intel chip. It's the first smartwatch to be powered by Intel, rather than the what is it the other ones use? Qualcomm, I think. Qualcomm processors, I think. I'm not sure.
Yes, I think so, yeah.
So it's the first one to be powered by Intel. It runs a somewhat custom build of Android Wear. What I mean by that is when you get the watch, you pair it up to a Tag Heuer application, which lets you register the watch, which then downloads custom software to the watch itself. There's custom Tag Heuer watch faces, obviously. There are custom timing, and because obviously Tag is a big watch and timing company, they have a stopwatch, a timer, a custom chronograph, they say features to optimize performance, precision, and perfection. See, that's great.
Dude.
The custom Tag Heuer watch faces are nice. They include complications on the chronograph watch faces, and the complications are customizable also to have different features. That's kind of similar to an Apple Watch. But this thing, man, oh God, it looks so good. It looks way better.
So hot.
Yeah, it looks way better than the Apple Watch. Now, price. $1,500. Yeah. Which I'm okay with. I don't have a problem with it. Here's the thing. So, smartwatches are little computers on our wrist, and they're going to be obsolete at some point in time.
Right.
So here's what Tag Heuer are doing. The watch comes with a 2-year warranty. Which is good for a smartwatch. Most come with a 1 year. Tag are providing it with a 2-year warranty. After that 2 years, you can go into any Tag Heuer boutique. You can hand them back the watch, give them an additional $1,500, and they will give you a mechanical Tag Heuer Carrera, which will then last you the rest of your life. So for $3,000 at the end of the day, for $3,000, you will walk away with a mechanical Tag Heuer Carrera, which generally retail for anywhere between $5,000 and $10,000. That's not a bad deal.
Really not.
It's not a bad deal at all. And oh God, it's so pretty.
It's really hot.
It is. Oh, where's orange? There's orange. Oh.
I'll see it in a minute. Literally, in a minute.
Oh my God. Well, it's a beauty. It's a very nice watch, and with the option of it never being it won't be obsolete because you can trade it in for a mechanical at the end of the day. for $3,000 total investment. That's a steal. That's a steal.
Yeah.
I'm wearing a Tag Heuer now, and I think it costs more than that. So
There's the orange. Oh, look how pretty the orange is.
I know, right? It's lovely. I've lost my mouse. There it is. Okay. I got to fade back to me. There we go. So yeah, Tag Heuer.
I don't know about $1,500 for a smartwatch. What do you think about that? I mean, it's a Tag, but
well,
really, it's an Android watch.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, but they're not good. They're going for a different kind of market, right? They're going for collectors and high-end watch, high-end
right.
watch people, and somebody who buys high-end watches aren't going to blink at that. Apple, for example, they just
But is it a high-end watch? Do you feel like it's a high-end watch?
But here's what they've done. They have their low, the sport watch for $350, the stainless steel watch that starts, I think, at $550 or $600. Then they have the stainless steel, which is partnered with Hermes, which starts at $1,100. Then they have their solid gold watches, which go all the way up to $17,000. People are buying them. Now, Apple haven't said what they're going to do when these things become obsolete. Now, it's very common in the high-end watch market that watchmakers offer either trade-up programs or trade-in programs, things like that to their customers, because their customers expect some kind of some high-end treatment. Apple haven't.
Well, yeah, because that watch isn't the only thing that they buy that they get top service on.
Exactly.
Yeah, they expect they expect to be treated well.
Right. I should I should be able to walk into any Tag Heuer boutique, hand them this watch, expect them to give me the best price possible for this watch without haggling, and then go ahead and buy a new watch, because that's what they do. Apple haven't said what they're going to do. So if you purchase their $17,000 watch and in 2 years it's completely obsolete, what do? Well, I fully expect Apple to do something. I think they're going to try to copy the high-end watchmakers and offer their customers something. I just don't know what they're going to do yet. We'll see. Probably a trade-in program, like most of them.
Right.
Because they'll probably trade them in for the value of the gold and say, yeah, now go buy a new watch. We'll see what happens. But I like Tag Heuer's move because it gives you a mechanical watch in 2 years' time for half the price it should be. I mean, that's some, and basically, I guess that's a bonus to their customers for being early adopters of the smartwatch.
Right.
I think it's a great move. I'm really, I don't know. I shouldn't buy one. I should not get one. Tell me I should not get one. I should not.
I love Tag Heuer. I mean, I have two.
Yeah.
I have the girl size one, but I feel like it makes my wrist look fat. So then I have the medium one that's too big. And so, whatever. I love Tag as a watch and as a watchmaker, but I'm just having trouble wrapping my brain around a $1,500 Android watch.
Yeah, well,
is it the Tag case that makes it?
Well, yeah, it's the case, the bracelet, the clasp, the case and the clasp are titanium, grade 2 titanium, which is the highest grade of titanium.
Right. Because of course, with even a medium high, with any watch, it's the works of the watch that make it worth what it's worth.
Yep. It is. For your high-end mechanicals, it's the time, it's the design and the time and the assembly of the innards that count.
Yeah.
And you're right, but that's why this is only $1,500 and not $7,000.
We're just gonna have to go see it. When I get to town, we just have to go see it.
I agree. We need to. But yeah, I think the case and everything I'm going to say it's well worth considering, well worth $1,500. And at the end of the day, $3,000 for a full mechanical, dirt cheap. Cheap as chips.
Right. Yeah. Anyway. Absolutely. But it's that $1,500 Android watch that
a lot of people are going to balk at that. I saw I saw Mac Daily News laughing about it on Twitter, and all I could do was respond to Mac Daily News and say, guys, I don't think you understand the high-end watch market. I think they've fundamentally misunderstood what these people are purchasing when they go out and purchase a high-end watch. $1,500 to a lot of these guys is nothing. It's like
Right.
it's like you and me buying a Timex for $20.
But they expect quality. They expect
they
something.
do.
Those guys don't just throw away money.
No, you're absolutely right. They expect some quality.
Right.
But I think they're smart enough to know that in a smartwatch, you get what you get when it comes to the operating
Right.
system. They want the quality to be in the manufacturing. They want the quality to be in the timepiece itself. And we all hope that the software gets better. We all hope that.
Right.
And they'll be hoping the same thing. But at the end of the day, when they can say, you know what, this just isn't working for me. Here's 1,500 more. I'll take that Carrera right there. And they get a Carrera for half price.
Right.
They're going to be
Right.
happy. They're going to be happy as
Right.
Larry. And I don't know, maybe I'll be right there with them.
Right.
Danny, we got a break coming up. When we come back, let's talk about Bluetooth.
Let's do that.
All right, guys, we'll be back in a minute.
Hey, so I don't think sorry, are we on?
Go ahead. No, go ahead.
Okay. I don't think I ever told you the story about when I got my first Galaxy Gear.
Right.
The phone that I had, I can't remember which of the phones that I had, but the Gear when it first dropped was only compatible with one of the
the the Galaxy S3, I think it was.
Which is not the phone that I had.
Oh God. Are you serious?
Totally dead serious. So I didn't think that my shenanigans to get the watch was going to work as fast as it did. So what I did was I kept referring to my new watch before I even had it. And Kurt's like, "You're not getting that watch." I was like, "Yes, I am." So I started talking into my wrist because the watch is a phone. And I said, because then I can talk to my friends like this. And I would talk into my wrist.
Right.
Well, then I got to where I would act like I couldn't hear Kurt unless he was talking into his own wrist. So he got sick of that. He just went out and bought me the fucking watch.
Oh, that's brilliant.
Well,
didn't work.
That worked faster than I thought it would because I knew that the software for my phone was coming out like in 3 or 4 days.
Right.
But he bought me the watch too soon.
Fantastic.
So I wasn't able to use it. So I had to just wear it as a big ugly bracelet for like the first 4 days.
That is amazing. That's brilliant.
Yeah. Yeah, I'd be like, wait, I can't hear you. You're not holding your wrist close enough.
Yeah. Tag Heuer releasing this watch made me actually take my tag out of the safe today.
Really?
Yeah. I haven't worn this one in months.
I need to get mine cleaned. Kurt's got one too that he doesn't wear. He doesn't wear any jewelry at all.
No.
Zero, none.
He should sell them cheap to me.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he talks about it every once in a while. Maybe I should wear it. No, he doesn't. Ever. Never.
Mm-hmm. It's funny. Yeah, I don't know why I have to wear a watch. It's just one of those. I feel if I leave the house without a watch, I just feel naked. Well, not naked, but you know what I mean.
Naked, N-E-double-K by God I-D, like you ain't got no clothes on and you're up to something?
Yes. That's how
that kind of naked?
That's how I feel not wearing a watch.
Yes, yes. Like the people on Towie, son, one of them is always naked and up to something.
Yeah,
they're naughty, right. Naughty people.
You're right, they are. Yeah. What about Bobby?
Oh man. Well, I'm only on season 6, so he's just starting to get warmed up.
Oh, is he? That's okay.
Yeah.
So you haven't you haven't seen him in his bathing costume yet, then?
I don't think so, no. Okay. Well, and I think there are seasons in between the Towie seasons when they go to mobs that I can't get anywhere.
Oh.
They're
yeah, like when they go on vacation, you mean?
Yeah.
And it's almost like it's been cut out of the I think maybe that was a summer special. I've noticed that also.
Yeah. Season 12 you can get on Hulu, but I'm only on season 6. So, because like Lucy and douchebag Mario got engaged. and
Yeah,
we didn't get to see it. Yeah. So,
I like Mario.
no, you don't.
I do. I like him because he's a tailor and well dressed. That's why.
Ugh, such a douche.
I'm sending you.
And he's bad to Lucy. I like Lucy.
Sending you a photo of Bobby in his swimsuit.
Yes. I like Lucy, and I don't like that he's bad to her.
I like Lucy too. I follow. Oh,
She's
it's so
just
sad.
sweet.
I follow all these guys on Twitter, and
Really?
yeah. And
Oh my God! Oh my God! That's a cocksock.
Yeah, that's Bobby in Marbs. Bobby on the beach in Marbs, double fist in the whatever the hell that is with strawberries in it.
That's a strawberry daiquiri.
Daiquiris, couple of daiquiris. Yeah, that's funny. But yeah, I follow him.
My God!
I follow everybody on Twitter. I even follow. I even follow the Sugar Hut on Twitter.
Did you really?
Yeah. Well, that way I can keep up with what's going on at the Sugar Hut.
Well, yeah. I mean, why wouldn't you really?
And what Mike's up to.
Why wouldn't you?
It's pretty sad. It's kind of sad. I've been I've been binge watching oh God, the one with the Walking Dead. I've been binge watching The Walking Dead, and while I did see a zombie eat a goat, still yet to see him eat a dog.
I don't know if we see them eat dogs.
Mm-hmm. That's what I'm saying.
I don't know if we actually. I think there's a pack of dogs in one of the episodes from like February. But I don't think we see the actual consumption of the dog.
They don't eat dogs.
Because I don't think that they want.
Right.
I mean, I think it's an editorial choice.
Yeah, obviously they wouldn't want people to see dogs getting eaten. So I guess it's okay to see a goat getting his guts ripped out and shoved down
or people eating
his throat. But...
Or seeing people getting eaten.
Yeah, people getting eaten is cool. Just watched
babies, kids.
Who was it? The episode I just watched. One of the long running characters got eaten. Can't remember his name. The little Asian kid. What's his name?
Wait, are you all caught up?
Almost. I've got two.
Glenn,
I've got 2 episodes of the most recent.
Oh
season.
yeah.
So
Glenn.
Sorry, Glenn.
That's like the climax.
Glenn got eaten. Sorry,
I don't think he's dead.
Everybody. Oh really?
Oh shit! Sorry, I forgot we're on.
Whoa! Wait a second.
I don't think he's dead.
Are you saying this because you? No, don't tell me. I'm going to ask.
No. Alex, I wouldn't do that. I would not do that.
But we saw his guts get eaten.
We saw guts get eaten. We didn't see because he's screaming the whole time.
Oh yeah, it could have been the other guy's guts. He could have been.
The other guy shot himself.
Yeah, that could have been the other guy. He laid under the body.
I think the other guy shot himself and fell on Glenn. And plus, that dumpster's right there.
Yeah.
I think Glenn's under the dumpster.
Or in the dumpster.
Somewhere.
Oh.
I don't think Glenn's dead.
Yeah, he may have let the zombies eat what's his knob's guts. And climbed into the dumpster and waited for the zombies to chase after a pack of dogs. And boom, Bob's your uncle.
And eat the goat. Yep. Glenn, while the zombies are eating the goat.
Glenn lives. I don't think Glenn's alive, but you never know, I guess. Because you're right. You didn't see him die. You didn't see his guts per se getting ripped out.
No, that scene was different than when we see other people die. Because we've seen so many people die.
Yeah. I'll tell you what
in so many different ways.
Oh, and I'll tell you what we didn't see. Dogs getting eaten.
No.
Right.
We did not see that.
I stand by what I've said all along.
We continued to not see that.
Right. And so, like I say, where are the dogs? If they don't eat dogs, where are the dogs? Stupid show. I'm writing the producers.
They're at dog camp.
I'm writing all of the producers and writers and every member of staff that I can find for The Walking Dead, and I'm issuing a strongly worded complaint. So there's
all right. I have to check off irregardless off of my things to talk about.
Irregardless. Do you have any others that you wanted to just really bitch about?
Any words?
Yeah, like any misprint, anything people, because you're the, if anyone's going to bitch about this, it should be you. You're the smart one.
There are so many.
I know. I know. It's so
Well,
annoying.
I told you the whole people thinking mano a mano means man to man. Drives me crazy. Like, don't, and that's the kind of thing that, like, when people use it, they're just trying to sound smart, but they don't really know what they're saying.
Yeah.
That drives me crazy.
Yeah.
Drives me crazy.
I used to date a girl who did this really good impersonation of uneducated people in court. Trying to use all these really big words. Speaking of court, I have to go to court Thursday.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I have to go fight my ticket. My
What do you need a
driving
ticket for?
driving in the emergency lane.
How are you going to fight that?
I'm looking for a reduction. I'm gonna get a reduction to a non-reporting charge so that my insurance company doesn't get all punitive with me. Here, we're going back on live. We're going back on the air, I should say.
Okay.
All right, guys, we're back, and we're going to talk about Bluetooth, I think. Oh, yeah, no, actually, what was that? Now, this is Bluetooth related. However, this is a, pardon me, this is a Bluetooth disc that I don't know what size. I'm assuming it comes in all different sizes because watches are all different sizes. But this is a thin rechargeable Bluetooth disc that effectively sits under your standard watch and turns any watch into a smartwatch. It doesn't really. The disc itself basically buzzes and flashes with your notifications and whatnot. I said and whatnot on air.
Yeah, you did.
Irregardless of that.
All serious and shit too.
Yeah. So it sits under so I could take this tag, put this little disc on the bottom of it. It's Bluetooth that connects to my phone, and I get notification alerts on my wrist. I can't look at them on the watch or anything, but I'm alerted that they're on my phone. I don't know. I'm not sure there's a market for this. I'm not sure it's overly functional, to be honest with you. But it's.
Here's what I'm thinking is I'm thinking about all the naughty places you would put that thing and have it vibrate.
Yeah, well, you could, I suppose. But you could do that. Could do that with your phone, couldn't you? Hell, I could do that with my watch. I could strap my Apple Watch to other parts of my body if I was that way inclined.
That you could. Yeah.
Anyway, so Bluetooth.
Yeah,
Bluetooth. It went dark.
That fast.
Anyway, Bluetooth. So
that went dark fast.
You I don't know, about a week ago, you and I were talking, and you said, well, let's talk about Bluetooth, what we use it for, things like that. And I thought that was a great idea because I got to thinking about it and realized I use a whole lot of Bluetooth.
Yeah.
I use quite not a whole lot, but I use a lot. So go ahead. Let's hear what you use, and then I will amaze you with my stunning array of Bluetooth devices.
Well, I was really thinking about discussing what type, if we use Bluetooth to talk on the phone, and if so, what we use. But now that you say that you use a ton of Bluetooth devices, I'm thinking about all of the Bluetooth that I have just on in my office.
Yeah, well, all right. Well, so let's talk about what Bluetooth initially was a hands-free wireless protocol for which was developed primarily for hands-free calling. So Bluetooth headsets. Now, I haven't had a dedicated Bluetooth headset in probably, I don't know, 5-6 years. But what I do have are Bluetooth headphones. I have some Beats Solo wireless headphones which have a Bluetooth connection, which also let me take and make phone calls from the headphones. You're in real estate though. You're in the car driving around all the time on the phone. You probably have an actual headset.
I have multiple headsets, yes. And I went through multiple different designs of like Bluetooth talkie things to figure out what I wanted. And I started with the one that like clips on your ear, and which is fine if you only, make a couple of phone calls a day or a week or whatever.
Right.
But wearing that thing all the time is torture. So that didn't work.
Yeah.
Just because the weight of it and just being on the ear, that went bad quickly. So then I went with some that kind of hang around your neck. And I had a Sony pair that the sound was fantastic, but they were so thin that they would get all tangled up in my mass of hair and end up like getting flung off. And then the phone would ring and I'd be looking for a way to answer the phone, and that went badly quickly. So now I have the ones, it's called the LG Tones, I think. And it's like a little sort of plastic horseshoe shape that sits around my neck.
Yeah.
So I wear that on all the time.
And you say you have those in a number of different colors?
I do have them in multiple colors to match my outfit.
Yeah, I see people wearing these all the time, by the way.
Yeah. And, and I like it because it just sits on your shoulders and you don't have to wear anything in your ear until you need to use it. Yeah. And then when the phone rings, you stick it in your ear and answer the call. And they're big enough that it's virtually impossible to lose because they're, not like headset big, but they're not little, like those little things you clip on your ear that you're going to lose. Because they're like $100 a piece.
Yeah.
So, and I think the sound is clear enough, and they hold a charge on standby, all day and then some. So,
yeah,
that's what I use.
I'm trying to find them here. So, again, I haven't had a dedicated Bluetooth headset just for phone calls in a long time, but what I do have are headphones. And I actually have a couple of pairs. I have the Motorola S9, which I'm actually popping up on the screen now, so you'll see it in 40 seconds. These Moto S9s are, again, it's a horseshoe looking shape, but it goes over your ears, and the headset kind of sits behind the back of your neck with the Bluetooth controls there. You'll see it when it comes up. And then I have the Beats Solo HD wireless, whatever those are, which are over the ear headphones, which are so good, by the way. They'll work wirelessly or wired. So it's the best of both worlds. However, these Moto S9s, you can get them dirt cheap these days. I want to say you can get them on Amazon for as low as like $20-30 because they're pretty old technology. It still uses mini USB to charge them instead of micro USB. So they're that old, but they're great. They're great headphones. They sound great. They're comfortable. And I use those when I'm sitting in the office. If I'm, working and want to listen to some music, I'll wear those, or I'll wear the Beats. In the car, I use the car's Bluetooth. I hook up to the Bluetooth in the car, which lets me play music and lets me make and receive phone calls and whatever I need to do in the car, I do over the car's Bluetooth. I also have Bluetooth speakers, portable speakers. In fact, I'll grab one out of my bag. This is one of them. This is an Ultimate Ears mini boom. It used to be the Logitech mini boom. The nice thing about say what?
Did you switch your video?
I was holding that up to the camera just in case anybody could see it. But I will also UE mini.
No. Sorry, I just meant.
No, that's okay.
My thing takes forever to catch up.
Yeah,
so
no.
I didn't know if you had switched us back to see you.
Well, I'm also gonna put up a little thing of this so people can see what it looks like. Anyway, it used to be Logitech mini boom. Then they got I guess purchased by Ultimate Ears. The nice thing about these, I have two of them. Each box contains, they're small, they're about the size of the palm of your hand. Its footprint contains 2 speakers and a bass port on the back. Wireless battery life of probably about 12 hours. With the application, though, you can link 2 of these together over Bluetooth and have stereo speakers as well. So I have this green one, and I have an orange one, and they'll link together. That's why I ended up getting these, because of that linking capability that they have, and they're fantastic. I also use one of these as my iPad external speaker. And that's how I watch, Netflix and Hulu 90% of the time is on my iPad with one of these speakers. They are, I think they're fantastic. So I use those. That's Bluetooth.
Yeah, I have a Hello Kitty head Bluetooth speaker.
That's cool.
Fantastic sound.
Just the head?
Fantastic sound. Just the head, yeah.
Just the head. Okay. That's cool. So
yeah.
You have a decapitated cat head speaker.
Disembodied Hello Kitty head.
Excellent. Well, hey, someone's got to buy that.
Yeah.
I also have I have a larger Bluetooth speaker or speakers, whatever you want to call them, which has effectively become my stereo at the house. So I can send audio from my computer or my phones or my iPad straight to these speakers. Now, what else do I use Bluetooth? Obviously, my watch, Bluetooth, all my phones, Bluetooth, and everything.
Keyboards and mouses.
Yeah, keyboards and mice, and everything's paired together with and that's one of the nice things about the Apple ecosystem. When everything is linked via Bluetooth, it enables features like handoff and what's the other one? Continuity and things like that. So you can hand off tasks from one device to another and pick up right where you left off. Continuity, it's kind of the same thing with a different name, to be honest with you. I think I guess there are some differences to continuity. I just can't think of them. Then there's AirPlay, where I can send video to different devices and things like that. So yeah, when I got to thinking about how much I actually use Bluetooth, it was a lot.
Yeah.
Now I just wish it would get faster and better. I think all of my Bluetooth devices use different protocols. I think my speakers are 2.1. My phone, I think, is up to Bluetooth 4 something. My iPad is 3 something. My Mac Mini is Bluetooth 1.2 or some shit like that. No, I think it's 2.1 as well. But, they release new revisions of Bluetooth, which gain more capabilities, and your older devices are left out in the cold.
Right.
Still, what else did you use? Anything else Bluetooth, or is that pretty much it? Your Hello Kitty head and your headsets?
Got the Kitty head. We got headsets. We have various speakers. We have Kurt and I have battled over. My office is upstairs, sort of at the top of the living room, which has vaulted ceilings. So when he's watching TV down there and has the TV sort of what I say is blaring, he says it's a comfortable volume. It just echoes directly into my office. So he has rigged up a Bluetooth speaker down there that's closer to him. So that's nice. So he listens through the Bluetooth speaker instead of the TV.
Yeah.
I was trying to get him to call and talk about his gaming headset, which I know nothing about. But he knows, everything about every generation of anything for all of the Nintendo 64 systems.
Yeah, a lot of my game controllers Bluetooth as well. So are the PlayStation controllers. They're all Bluetooth. Everything these days is Bluetooth. It's amazing.
It really is.
Yeah.
Nothing is wired anymore.
Nope. I love it. All right, so that's Bluetooth. Anyway, I was talking about the Tag Heuer watch, and it was $1,500. LG have released a a new watch. Well, it's not new. It's their LG Urbane watch, their watch Urbane, but they've released a limited edition gold version for $1,200. So there's a $1,200 Android smartwatch from LG. It doesn't look anywhere near as nice as the Tag Heuer, but you know,
right.
So people wonder, well, is anybody going to buy a $1,200 or $1,500 smartwatch? I think they will, and I think they're going to sell quite a lot of them. I'm pretty sure that the high-end watchmakers need to jump into this game pretty quick, else they're going to take a beating. So, watches. That's that. That's honestly about all I had. What else did I have here? I talked about Chronos, the adhesive Chronos disc that sticks to the bottom of your watch. That was cool. Oh, Volkswagen. Fucking Volkswagen. I don't know who they think we are. So Volkswagen are offering $1,000 in gift cards and vouchers to customers that are affected by their cheating scandal, which, by the way, I read the other day, they're now backing down on that and saying they weren't cheating and that was accidental. I don't know. Anyway, they're offering, that's what they're saying. So they're offering a $500 dealership credit. I'm guessing you can use it for services and parts and whatnot. And they are giving you a $500 Visa gift card that you can use anywhere. I would demand a $1,000 Visa gift card if it was me personally, or just sue the company. And they're offering a $2,000 trade-in credit. So your total compensation, if you bought one of these affected vehicles, could be $3,000. Is that enough? I don't know. I would go back to the dealer and I would demand $5-6 grand off a car. I'd get that anyway. So yeah. Right. I paid what I buy. I bought a brand new Ford Focus. Sticker was $21,000. I paid $12.5. Yeah, I beat the shit.
Did you really?
Yeah, I beat the shit out of those motherfuckers. Yeah, $12.5 for a brand new Focus. Sticker was $21. That was a good price. All right, so Volkswagen. Screw that.
All right, wait, I have a list.
Go on.
We were going to talk about RFID wallets.
Okay.
That got, I don't know.
Now, you're talking about the wallets that protect your RFID embedded cards, right?
Correct.
Okay, so that's a quick conversation.
Well, yes, because I don't remember what you and Keith were talking about. Something about wallet.
Mine was a wallet that charges your phone. Here's what I do. I have this is my standard wallet. It's actually a business card holder. Inside of this wallet is this little paper. It looks and feels just like paper. It's a sleeve, but it's an RFID protective sleeve. And I put my cards in it. They have RFID chips, and they are protected inside of a standard wallet. This protective sleeve came for free from the U.S. Department of Homeland Security. Got that for free, and I imagine anybody can get one if they want one.
Wait, I'm waiting for you to pull it out.
Okay. Yeah, that's right. I'm going to take it out again. You're on a delay. You'll see it in a second. So yeah, I mean, I don't know that there's a need to buy a fancy wallet to block our RFID from scanners. When you can
talk about what that is. Like, explain.
Oh, radio frequency ID. So here's the best example. My green card, my U.S. immigration green card, has information embedded in the card on an RFID chip. It's basically a microchip with a bunch of information stored on it that they can scan at a terminal and bring up all this information. Well, the drawback to it is anybody with a handheld scanner could say, walk past you, brush the scanner across your pocket, and retrieve all of that data onto their handheld scanner and walk off with it. I know a lot of medical ID cards are starting to include RFID chips. Like I say, my immigration card has an RFID chip. Bank cards, I think, are going to start having. I believe the chip in chip and pin is actually an RFID chip, and anybody with a scanner, if they, and these chips are readable, I want to say out to about 18 inches. So anybody that can walk, close enough to you and wave a scanner could theoretically grab all the information off your chip. So you can buy RFID blocking wallets or sleeves. I happen to use the sleeves because I was given mine for free. But I know you can buy them at Staples for like $1 for a packet of them,
Okay.
and keep all your cards in there. Or you can buy an RFID blocking wallet. Now, I've actually considered buying one of those, not for the RFID blocking capability, but simply because they're usually a hard cased wallet, which keeps its shape and doesn't collapse. And it's just kind of cool. You can get them in metal or certain polymers, and they block RFID scanners. So I thought that was kind of cool. So I don't know.
My mom has a pocketbook, like a purse that's RFID blocking.
The entire purse, huh?
Yeah.
That's kind of cool. Yeah. And, I think it's something everybody should be aware of. And if you don't have a wallet specific for it, at least go buy some sleeves, some cheap sleeves to put your cards in, and protect your data that way. Because it's funny, identity theft, I think, is probably the easiest crime in the country to get away with. Or so it seems. It's one of those crimes where there's no protection for the victim, and nobody seems to want to investigate and catch the villain. So I don't know. It's just everybody seems to want to. It's the fastest growing crime in the country. I know that.
Crazy.
And I know that every time I've been hit by it, they've never found a suspect. They've never found anybody culpable. So.
Were your incidents linked?
No, I don't believe so. No, not at all. And it's funny, this most recent one, I just got a notification from the bank saying that they've investigated, that they've credited all the money back to me, and everything's good, but they didn't find, there was no criminal. They didn't find anybody to blame. And I think it's because they actually it costs them more to investigate it in this case than the losses would have been. So I think in this case, they just cut their losses and say, well, forget it.
Right.
It's sad.
That's a shame. It really is.
Well, it provides an incentive to the criminals. Why would they ever possibly stop doing it when they never get caught?
Right. Yeah, when they get away with it.
Yeah.
Or when the chances of them getting away with it are so high.
Yeah. That's why I really want everybody to start adopting things like Apple Pay or Google Pay, where all I have to do is hold my phone up to the payment terminal, use my thumbprint as authentication. That way, nobody gets my card. Nobody even gets my card number, because it creates a one-time use card number just for that transaction.
Right.
Yeah, so nobody even gets my card number. When everybody adopts that kind of system, I think we'll be a lot better off. So
do regular credit card readers at stores accept those, or how does that work?
Yeah, well, it depends on who the store is. Generally, if a vendor accepts NFC payments, then they will accept Apple Pay and Google Pay.
Okay.
Basically wireless contact payments. You hold your phone up to it, your NFC chip lights up the screen, you pay for your product. So the ones I know of, Home Depot accepts it, McDonald's accepts it, Lowe's, Walgreens, CVS. I mean, there's a whole list of companies that accept it. There are others that were holding off because they were part of this merchant exchange consortium that were trying to come up with their own payment program, which involved an app and scanning barcodes and shit like that. And they realized nobody wants to do that. So a lot of these retailers are now saying, well, we're gonna take Apple Pay, because obviously this merchant exchange thing is a piece of shit and it's not rolling out as fast as they want it to. So Best Buy and Target have both said they're going to start taking Apple Pay. I think everybody's going to eventually. Then the biggie is going to be restaurants, so that they bring a card reader to you. You just, do your NFC payment, your Apple Pay or whatever it is, and they walk away happy. You don't have to give anyone your card or give anyone your number. That will eliminate fraud, or at least that kind of identity theft right there. The casual card copying type of theft will be eliminated right there and then. But banks don't seem to be in a big hurry to adopt it. Neither do the big box retailers. The big box retailers want to be part of the MCX, merchant customer exchange, I think, because in addition to being a payment solution, it's also a data harvesting service. So they get to collect a bunch of information on you and share it. Whereas with Apple Pay and Google Payments, there is no information for them to collect. They don't even get your name when you make the payment. So, it's less attractive to a retailer because they can't collect information on you to resell, I should say. Because as we all know, we are the product.
Yes.
Let me see here. That was about it. Comcast, some documents got leaked from Comcast, where basically Comcast admitted their data caps have nothing to do with bandwidth usage, and that they are purely punitive and a way to make extra money. So there's that. But I think we all expected that. We all knew that was why they were doing it. Because people are cutting the cord. That was actually something from last week I wanted to say. I'm going through last week's notes. That's how desperate I am for content right now. It's been a slow week, man.
Yeah.
It's been a slow week.
We didn't talk about keyboards. We were going to talk about, but you just use like the stock keyboard.
Yeah, so. I use the Apple keyboard. They're, Apple only, I think it was with iOS 8, they opened up the iPhone to third-party keyboards, and I tried some. I tried the Swift keyboard and Swipe. You know what Swipe is?
Yeah.
Where you zigzag across the keyboard without lifting your finger.
Yeah,
I tried that.
Yeah.
I tried some of the novelty keyboards like the GIF keyboard and the emoji keyboard and shit like that. Here's my problem with them on iOS. On iOS, in order to use a third-party keyboard, that keyboard has to be able to communicate with the keyboard maker or any third party that the keyboard maker allows it to communicate with. If you disable that, you can no longer use the keyboard. Well, to me, that makes it a keylogger. That's all it is. It's logging every keystroke and sending it to a third party. And I'm not into that. I think this is an Apple problem. It's Apple, I believe, that imposed that limitation. Why they would have that is beyond me. But yeah, they all act as keyloggers. That's why I don't use them. I don't know if that's the same on Android or not. I imagine it is. Probably. I imagine they log every keystroke.
Probably. Yeah.
Mm. Well,
I mean, do you think that's nefarious or?
Oh, I think it's terrible. I think. Yeah, I do. You're sending every single password you type is getting sent off to somebody in the cloud, and you don't know who they are, and you don't know who they're selling that information to or sharing it with. And while they may say, you can trust us with your gear, what if they get sold a year down the line?
Right.
What if they do what Google did and change their name to Alphabet and change their mission statement and remove the words "Don't be evil"? Right. And now they're basically Google or Alphabet, formerly Google. We're fucking evil. I don't know that that's their actual mission statement, but it could be.
Right.
I don't know. So,
well, now you know I'm going to have to get rid of my cute keyboard, and that's.
well, I mean, or at least look at the permissions it has and see if it's acting
Well,
as
I'm
a.
sure it's the same. You know, it's the same damn thing.
Yeah,
Shut up.
it would have to be. It has to be.
Of course it is.
And I'm surprised people don't know this, but apparently they don't.
Well, I knew it. I mean, I knew it. Shut up. It's the swipe one. It's the Swift.
Oh,
not
swipe?
It's Swift key. No.
Oh,
It's not swipe. It's Swift key.
Swift key, yeah, they definitely log
Yeah.
every keystroke. So every password, and I pride myself on having unique, hard to remember passwords for each website. But if I'm just typing them and sending that information off, what's the point?
Right. Hey, so let me ask you this, and I thought about this actually, asking you this the other day when I locked myself out of my work email for the third time. How do you keep up with unique passwords?
I use a password manager. I use one called 1Password. It's the number one in the word password. 1Password, one word.
Okay.
It runs on Windows, the Mac, and iOS devices, and I believe now on Android also. It's not cheap. The version from my Mac was $40. Plus I've bought 3 upgrades to it for $20 a piece each. So I've got well over $100 invested in this software. The version on my iPhone and iPad was $10, but that covered both devices. And a Windows version was 30 something or something like that. But it's worth its weight in gold to me. Now, there are free versions of there are free password managers. I downloaded one for a friend who is she's an older person, and we know what older people in technology are like.
Right.
Fucking useless. So I found her a free version on Password Man. I found her a password. Sorry, I'm trying to look it up. I found her a free app on iOS. And I downloaded it and tried it first of all to see if I thought it was any good. And it was actually quite good for a free password manager. It wasn't very in depth. You couldn't it's not like you could it's called Passable, Passible. It doesn't have like a bunch of categories or anything like that you can dig into like 1Password does, but it's a great place to just store passwords. It will generate will it? 1Password generates long complex passwords for you. Passable blah 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 blah. Does it create passwords? I think it does. I think it creates passwords. And when you browse a website, you can log in with it because now in the share sheet, Apple allows third-party applications to jump in there. So if I'm browsing and I need to log into a site, I can just open 1Password. I authenticate 1Password with my thumbprint, and then that logs me into whatever it is I'm going to. So I actually, even with a keylogger, because that process is automated, it would not log the keystroke. So I would actually be safe theoretically in that situation. But yeah, I use a password manager. I recommend them to everybody. They are brilliant. Go on.
So I don't mean to be an idiot. Does it log you into things, or how does that work?
Well, yeah, it can, again, depending on, I think, the app you're using. So 1Password. Let's say I put it this way. I can open the app and create a password for any website. So let's say I want Amazon.com. I can do a username and password, and then say this is now my username and password at Amazon. Or I can just go to Amazon.com, go to the sign up page, open 1Password, and 1Password will say, oh, do you want to create a login for this page? Do it for me automatically with a username and a long complex password. Save that to Amazon. Then each time I go back to Amazon, I can use my thumbprint to unlock 1Password, and it'll log me back in to Amazon, for example.
Okay.
So yeah,
Okay.
will it log you in? Yes, it can. It won't do it automatically. Otherwise, that would do away with any security features.
Right.
1Password on the iPhone uses a master password, which has to be typed. If you reboot your phone, you have to type in the master password. After that, it will use your Touch ID. It will use your thumbprint to authenticate. So it's real quick. It will create complex passwords. With some websites that it's partnered with, you can change your password on the fly. So let's say once every 6 months you like to change your password to Facebook, for example. You can actually do that now, I believe, from inside 1Password. Facebook is a partner page, and it will update and change all your information for you automatically. I wish everybody let you do that, because once every 6 months, I would just say, change all of my passwords. I don't need to remember them because they're stored inside of 1Password.
Right.
Back up your 1Password database. I back mine up in 3 different places, because if you ever lose that, you are screwed.
Right, and that was going to be my next question. Is it server driven, or how does that work? So, like, if the server goes down, are you fucked?
Okay,
or
it's not server driven, because again, that's insecure. Because then
right,
the argument is you're still storing your data on a third party server.
off-site.
So mine stores. Now, I have made a decision to actually do that. I upload 1 copy of my database to a cloud service. I'm not going to say which one. Actually, technically 2 cloud services. One of them is just, I don't even consider it. It's more of a convenience for me than anything. I have it backed up on my PC at home and to an external hard drive. I have a second backup on my phone, because it will create a backup on your phone. I have a backup on my iPad, and a backup in the cloud. So actually, I have tons of backups of this thing. So at any time, I can recover a older version if I need to. So yeah, very important.
But if passwords have changed since then.
Well, mine syncs over the air with, so because iOS is cloud connected, any change that I make on my phone is made on my computer at home, like within 10 seconds or so.
Okay.
That's one of the beauties of the iOS infrastructure. Everything works together, you see.
Right.
So yeah, I make a change on my phone, it's reflected on my computer immediately. So yeah, while there could be a moment in time where something has changed and doesn't get backed up, it's quite unlikely.
Right. No, I get it. Yeah.
And even then, if it did, I would just get the latest version from my cloud storage and bring that back to all my devices, because that gets updated immediately.
Okay.
So yeah, password managers. Not sure what is a good one on Android. I imagine, I think was it called Passable, the one I just said? I imagine that's available on Android, because it says it's a very popular. It says it's a very popular password safe lock 1. Passable password safe lock 1 by Clear Sky Apps. I don't know. Business Insider said it was good, and Fox News, and there are over 10 million users. So I don't know.
How could 10 million people be wrong?
Yeah, I mean, it might be good. Who knows? It was good for Cindy, my friend, because her password needs were very limited. I think if you have very extensive password requirements, and if you store sensitive documents or notes or bank account information, credit card information, then I would go with one of the bigger players like 1Password. It lets me secure and store pretty much everything. And I would recommend that, to be honest. It's just the money for a lot of, like, people like Keith refuse to pay for an application. Right. He won't pay for an app. But I think it's well worth it.
Which is funny. That's just funny to me.
It is.
That,
it is.
That he won't pay for an app.
Yeah, he refuses to.
But,
there are a lot of people like that. Honestly, I can't say I blame him, because you never know. Are you going to stay with Android for good? You know, I've spent so much money on iOS. I'm pretty much obligated to stick with iOS now. It's a good job. I like it.
Right.
Still, I might maybe I'll do a bit more digging on other password managers this week, so I can talk about it next week with a little maybe talk about it next week with a little more
Yes, that would be nice, because I was curious as I'm sitting here looking at sticky notes stuck to the face of my computer with usernames and passwords written on them.
Right.
I'm thinking there's a more, millennial way to do that.
Yeah, there are much better ways to do it.
I could be wrong, but I don't think so.
I'll dig into that over the way. I know there are some that are cloud options only. I don't know that I would go with one of those, but I don't know. I like my data to remain my data. I prefer to share it with as few people as possible.
Right.
But that's me.
Yeah.
All right. Well, Dan, it's 9:30 odd, so I got to wrap this up.
All right, brother. Well,
thanks
good talking to you.
Hey, you too. Thanks for calling in, and thanks for putting those vapors in their place.
Man, I am here to serve.
All right.
I'm here for the better good. All right, brother. Talk to you soon.
All right, Dan. Bye.
All right, bye.
All right, guys. I'm going to wrap this up. I'm done. Head's pounding. I'm sweating like a pig, and I have to go to sleep. Thanks for listening, everybody. Don't forget to tune in tomorrow for the morning show with Scott. Oh, I also have to thank DJ Smiles for bringing me a sandwich earlier today. It was a lovely Cajun chicken. Seeing as none of the latest talk listeners brought me a steak, I was very disappointed in that, but that's whatever. Anyway, medium rare, nice baked potato, some peas, whatever. It'd be lovely. Scott, what other shows are going on this week? Anything?
Me and you might be at the gun place tomorrow, right?
Yes. Oh, yes. Yeah. I want to go shooting tomorrow. Yeah. Shots fired in Covington. We're gonna hopefully head over there and do a little shooting. Hell, anybody wants to show up, show up. No, there's no
Wednesday night show.
No Wednesday night show. And all right, well, so that's it, guys. Thanks for listening. Thanks for watching on YouTube. You have a great night. I'll see you next week. Just for Fun Radio, thanks you. Scott just sat in with us.
And tomorrow, by the way, makes I don't know if that makes sense. Tomorrow makes our 5-year anniversary.
Oh, that's right. Of Just for Fun Radio's 5th year anniversary tomorrow. That's right. Oh, and next Tuesday, I believe I'm going to have Janice Van Ness on. She's a candidate for Senate seat 43, Georgia Senate.
Somebody's been stealing our signs.
Have they really?
Tacky.
It doesn't surprise me. Very tacky.
And a couple other yards.
Yep, really tacky. So yeah, listening to for that, Janice is going to come in and talk about how technology has changed the way candidates campaign for office. I think that's going to be interesting. She's in a runoff election coming up December 1st, by the way. So yeah, whichever side of the fence you're on, don't forget to get out and vote. Although it is a runoff, I'm not sure what the rules are surrounding that, but I think you have to have voted in the first election in order to vote in the runoff. I'll ask Denise that. I'll ask her next week. But until then, guys, thanks for listening and tune in tomorrow. And you guys have a good night.
Later.
I'll ask Janice that, not Denise.
Yeah. Well, I got tongue twisted the other day because you have Janice.
Yeah.
Then you have Denise.
Yeah.
And then Doc is a niece.
Yep.
So I was like, all messed up.
Too many damn nieces.
That's right.
All right, guys. Thank you for watching. I got to go home. I got to take some pills and go to bed. See ya.